Today we're talking about hair trims and should you get a hair trim. That's really, really important. What is a hair trim? A hair trim is literally getting your hair trimmed. I know it sounds that simple, but that's what it is. So if you have a haircut like this and you like the length and you say, you know what, it's getting a little bit long, a little out of control, then it's time to get a hair trim. You go to a hair professional and you say, hey, I would like to get my hair trimmed. I like the length. I don't want a lot taken off. Can you just skim the ends? Well, what is a skim? A skim is just a trim. Yes, skimming is trimming. Remember that. Skimming is trimming. So a skimming is basically like they're taking less than a half an inch off the length, really cleaning up the dead ends. So you can say to them, just clean up the dead ends. I like kind of the length where it's at. I don't want to go a lot shorter. I want to keep it like kind of in the same type of look. I like the way my hair looks. Just clean it up and skim it up, and that's it. Now, it depends on you trusting your hair professional, because you can go to a very experienced hair professional and they will still butcher your hair. The last thing you want is a crime scene on your head. Stop getting your hair butchered. If you are getting your hair butchered, or you're not getting the haircuts that you want, or you go to get a trim and you don't like it, it's time to change who you're going to. A lot of you may say, oh, it's I don't know what's going on. I'm getting bad haircuts. And you keep going to the same person who keeps giving you bad haircuts. Find someone new. And if they're not in your area, then I don't know, maybe travel a little further than you normally go. But when it comes to getting your hair trimmed, it's up to you to explain. I also get a lot of questions saying, Salon Guy, when should I trim my hair, especially if I'm growing it out? Say I'm growing out an undercut, I'm growing out the top, I'm growing out. When do I get a trim? How do I get a trim? What do I do? That's a great question. So if you're trying to grow your hair out and it's very unbalanced, let's say, for example, the back is a lot longer, the sides are longer than the top. You need to grow the top out and don't touch the area that is the shortest or most unbalanced. You need to balance everything out. That means that you could have to cut the back a little bit shorter down through here. That means that you may need to cut the sides a little bit shorter and let the top grow longer. So based on whatever haircut you're looking for, it really depends on where your hair needs to grow and where it needs to get cut. Really just simplify it and don't make it so complicated. Let's say you want to grow out a buzz cut or a haircut that's really short on top is something like this. Well, clearly you can see how long this hair is. So if your hair is really short on top and a little bit longer on the sides, you need to explain that to your professional and saying, hey, this is the style I want. Can you help me grow it out? So you have to grow the top all the way down to here and maybe trim the sides up so that it grows out a bit more balanced. It comes down to having a balanced shape. It's really that simple. Should you get a hair trim? Yes, only when it's needed. Hair needs to get cleaned up to cut the dead ends. So stop having dead ends, start finding the right professional to cut your hair, and get those cleanups now. If you want to purchase any of my products, use code YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com.